Brittney Griner, who was imprisoned in Russia in a man's prison, which I had no idea.
Is under fire for extremely aggressive behavior portrayed toward Caitlin Clark, the rookie from last year, the one that has everybody's focus in the WNBA. And this incident has, of course, gone viral online, but also sparked up some other skeletons in Brittney's closet that she probably wants to stay hidden.
Brittney Griner received a shocking medical revelation that transcends any birthday surprise. Doctors just unveiled wild, jaw-dropping health details, sparking her absolute panic. Crucially, these findings aren't merely personal, they've ignited a massive controversy, especially as Caitlin Clark was unexpectedly drawn into the drama, completely upending the WNBA. What shocking truth prompted this sudden chaos? Prepare yourself, because this unfolding story is about to get seriously intense, revealing layers you won't believe.
Y'all gotta see this. So Brittney Griner has just been banned from the WNBA after this situation with Caitlin Clark is going viral, where she made some extremely racist remarks from the bench after getting fouled out by Caitlin Clark. I mean, this is just insane. Just watch this video, bro.
Brittney Griner just had a full-blown meltdown, and trust me, it wasn't over the last slice of pizza. Nope, this tantrum stems from a truth bomb so monumental, it's rocked the WNBA's meticulously crafted woke safe space to its core, making it wobble like a Jenga tower in a Category 5 hurricane. You heard that correctly, the very same Brittney Griner, known for her aggressive play, constant yelling, and literally transforming women's basketball into a pay-per-view spectacle, is now visibly sweating bullets. And here's why that matters. Medical experts have finally decided to take a much closer scientific look at her fundamental biological status, raising serious questions about long accepted assumptions.
Who could have predicted that Brittney Griner might get mistaken for a man?
Now here's the kicker, and it's a big one. For 6 years, we've been fed this narrative. Simply declare yourself a woman and poof, instant eligibility to dominate women's sports. Meanwhile, legitimate female athletes are left bewildered, wondering if they should have just uttered the magic words themselves to gain a competitive edge. But Brittney didn't just casually glide through. She elbowed her way in, literally, and then, to make matters worse, added a racist tantrum on top. Remember that troubling incident where she verbally attacked Caitlin Clark? That wasn't just poor sportsmanship. She literally branded Clark a trash white girl. It highlights a disturbing double standard where certain behaviors are excused under a twisted interpretation of woke ideology among teammates.
Brittney Griner just called Caitlin Clark a trash effing white girl. Caitlin Clark has been picked on and abused ever since she entered the league in 2024, and now Brittney Griner is joining in on the action, saying that she is an effing white trash white girl because after she fouled out, she decided to take her anger and frustration out on Caitlin Clark. If the roles were reversed, imagine the type of field day the media would be having right now. Let's all remember the character of Brittney Griner. This is the same woman who got caught smoking weed in Russia and was
But hold on to your seats, because here's where things get truly juicy. These medical revelations aren't your typical, interesting kind of stuff. Nope. They strongly suggest Brittney might be playing a completely different game, one involving a physical advantage most female athletes can only dream of. This advantage? It's fundamentally biological, undeniably present, and here's why that matters. The WNBA's silence on this critical matter isn't just quiet, it's deafening, a blatant refusal to address questions of fair play.
There are a number of states who are aggressively moving to prevent transgender athletes playing. And I was wondering, where is that going to be on your radar in terms of advocating for, athletes, all athletes, transgender athletes to be able to play?
Oh, I mean, that ranks high on the list of things that I'll be fighting for and speaking up against. You know, everyone deserves the right to play. Everyone deserves the right to come here, sit in these seats, and feel safe.
Really, Brittney? Really? Can we switch this Brittney with the other Brittney, please, and bring her back?
Look, this isn't some wild conspiracy cooked up by online trolls. We're talking about highly trained medical professionals, experts who've rigorously studied bone structure, muscle composition, recovery patterns, and even injury histories. And they're genuinely scratching their heads because Brittney's unique frame, her voice, and her very movements simply don't align with the average female athlete. Imagine a doctor going, wait a minute, that's not typical female bone density. Yet the WNBA seems to just be twiddling its thumbs, essentially saying, move along, nothing to see here. The implications of this deliberate ignorance are significant.
Biden made a trade for the Merchant of Death and returned him back to Russia for him to continue doing the same shenanigans that he was doing before he got arrested. He sold $10 million of arms to the Houthis. You think this was an even trade? The WNBA is nothing more than the WWE with women in basketball shorts.
And to add insult to injury, quite literally, Brittney has been caught on camera assaulting Caitlin Clark with all the subtlety of a wrecking ball. But here's the thing, when you consider the potential biological advantages she's allegedly been hiding under the guise of gender identity, that assault transforms from merely dirty play into something far more troubling, an act of unfair dominance, leveraging an inherent, unacknowledged physical edge. Suddenly, that entire trash white girl rant she unleashed feels less like an isolated incident and more like throwing gasoline on a deeply simmering fire that's been quietly burning in the background. You want to talk about blatant hypocrisy? Let's dive into how the WNBA has spent years meticulously preaching inclusion and equity, yet simultaneously sweeping these glaring, uncomfortable questions about biological fairness under the rug. It's like telling every single athlete, you're all unique and special snowflakes, while allowing one player to literally bulldoze through the competition, not just with an unfair biological edge, but also with a side of unapologetic racism. And frankly, if Brittney Griner were a straight white woman, trust me, she wouldn't be elbowing her way to championships. She'd likely be benched faster than you can utter virtue signal. Then there's the bizarre saga of the Instagram AI drama. Remember that now infamous video that resurfaced? Brittney's Instagram account posted a topless video that inexplicably slipped past the platform's sophisticated AI, which is specifically designed to instantly flag female nudity. Instead, the AI was apparently so confused it just gave her a free pass, seemingly treating the content as if it belonged to a male athlete. Now, this might just be a peculiar glitch in the system, but considering the rapidly piling medical doubts and questions, it serves as the perfect, almost poetic metaphor for the entire WNBA's convoluted approach. A system that is seemingly blind to objective reality, deaf to scientific facts, and desperately attempting to protect a player who may not even fit the league's own fundamental rules of competition and classification. It truly makes you wonder about the bigger picture here.
Well, it seems that the WNBA is, well, we know it's not a serious league, but it seems like maybe they are trying to hide something. They certainly do not want anybody with an opposing viewpoint covering their league. Now, mind you, this is a league that's never turned a profit. This is a league that, even with Caitlin Clark having joined this league last year, lost $40 million.
It used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now it's like there's a large gathering of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score, like we're there for their entertainment, and that's pretty gross. Are you
I act like
Okay, let's briefly give credit where it's due. Brittney's panic is understandable. This isn't just about losing face over those racist comments or the assault on Clark. It's about her facing a future where her eligibility is questioned, records wiped clean, and reputation shredded. If the medical community's urgent calls for chromosome tests, hormone levels, and bone density scans are answered, Brittney could become the poster child for why sports leagues need rigorous biological verification, not just I identify as policies. And don't even get me started on the legal mess. If it turns out Brittney's competed under false pretenses, lawsuits will rain down harder than a slam dunk. Imagine every athlete who lost out because of this woke loophole lining up to claim damages. The financial fallout alone could bankrupt a small country. Yet from the WNBA, we hear crickets, a silence louder than the backlash they're trying to dodge. Instead of embracing transparency or setting a precedent for fairness, they're hiding behind a wall of silence and frantic damage control. Maybe they think ignoring the problem will make it disappear, but here's the painful truth: it won't.
the rights deal coming, and that's going to bump up to about $220 million a year. But even that won't matter if something happens and Caitlin Clark's ratings disappear, like they have now that she's been injured. But that is not teaching this league anything. A couple of weeks ago, and even though it went viral, it somewhat got lost in the shuffle. Brittney Griner's effing white girl trash comments that was caught on video. Some people tried to claim it was effing whack call. I'm sorry, there's not a world where I see.
Because here's the bottom line. Women's sports are about fair competition among biological women. When you let players with male biological advantages onto the court arguing identity trumps biology, you're not just bending rules, you're breaking the entire playing field. And if Brittney Griner remains in the WNBA without accountability or testing, what does that say to every female athlete grinding day and night trying to compete on a level playing field? It says their efforts are meaningless. This isn't just a Brittney Griner problem. It's a crisis shaking the very foundation of women's sports. For years, leagues like the WNBA have claimed to champion equality, yet they've quietly allowed biological realities to be ignored in the name of political correctness. This isn't about hate, it's about preserving competition's integrity, which every athlete deserves. Think about it. Sports have always been divided by sex because biology matters. Male and female bodies are fundamentally different. Muscle mass, bone density, lung capacity, and hormone levels aren't just trivia. They create advantages that shape performance. Ignoring these differences isn't progressive, it's reckless. Now, Brittney Griner has become the poster child for this recklessness. The medical community's growing concerns aren't from fringe voices, they're grounded in decades of scientific research. When experts note Griner's physical characteristics align more closely with male biology, it's not an attack on her identity, it's a call to uphold fair play.
Watching on purpose, it's very disruptive. It's called the freaking game that they pay you money to play. Don't play the game. It's very disruptive. It continues. Brittney Griner voiced frustration in a recent interview, claiming that Caitlin Clark is ruining what used to make the WNBA great. Wait for this.
Empty stands? This is why the WNBA is never, ever, ever going to work and never make money. And this is exactly what Caitlin Clark gets for bending the knee. Do you guys remember when she said, when we lost all respect for her, when she said, I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege. And the more we can elevate black women, this is going to be a beautiful thing. That's when it was all over. And Angel Reese and Brittney Griner, they walk around like the league owes them something. Even Ryan Clark's attitude as if, bro, where's the victimhood? These are freaking millionaires. Like, what are you talking about? It's attitude, it's no humility, just entitlement, and that's not confidence, it's arrogance with respect.
Imagine being a female basketball player who trains for years, sacrificing sweat and tears for glory, only to have that shot taken by someone who, despite identifying as a woman, possesses natural physical advantages unaddressed by hormone therapy or self-identification. That's what's happening, and it's not just unfair, it's profoundly demoralizing. What's even more troubling is how the WNBA and other governing bodies have responded. Instead of facing these tough questions head on, they've chosen silence and obfuscation. It's as if admitting the problem would shatter their carefully crafted image of inclusivity. But here's the brutal truth. Inclusivity at the cost of fairness is no inclusivity at all. It's a betrayal. And it's not just about fairness, it's critically about safety. Women's sports are high impact, physically demanding. When athletes compete on uneven footing, injury risk skyrockets. Yet, instead of addressing these concerns transparently, the league seems intent on sweeping them under the rug.
Brittney Griner once revealed in an ESPN interview the struggle she faced with her body and outward appearance when she was growing up. Yes, she's very flat-chested. Listen, there's arguments about there. There's arguments out there about people that think she's not a biological woman. I ain't gonna argue with you too hard. Fact checkers say she is, but just essentially is completely flat-chested.
And let's be absolutely clear, this isn't about tearing anyone down or denying anyone's right to exist as they see fit. This is about protecting the competitive landscape women's sports have fought tirelessly to build. It's about honoring the sacrifices female athletes make, ensuring their efforts aren't rendered meaningless by policies that disregard physical realities. If anything, Brittney Griner's situation should be a massive wake-up call. Sports leagues urgently need to develop clear, science-based eligibility criteria that respect both identity and biology. This might sound controversial, but ignoring the issue won't make it go away. These women work tirelessly to compete on an even playing field, only to see opportunities diminish due to a lack of proper regulation. And here's why that matters. What truly happens happens if this problem isn't addressed. The consequences could be catastrophic. Sponsors may pull out, fans may lose faith, and the very credibility of women's sports could be irreparably damaged. This isn't hyperbole, it's a very real possibility if governing bodies continue to prioritize optics over fairness.
The WNBA is committed to eradicating racism, along with criticism and most other isms. Now, of course, feminism is allowed along with feminine masculinism. A week or so into the season, Bob Griner potentially violated the no space for hate policy. Bob was caught on video speaking blasphemous rhetoric towards the Great White Hope, but for some reason, Kat Engelbert is choosing to ignore it. Kat Engelbert can't find the interest to even launch an investigation.
And for the fans and athletes who feel betrayed, it's time to demand accountability. Call out the silence, push for transparency, and support women fighting not just for medals, but for fairness and respect. Because at the end of the day, women's sports aren't just entertainment. They represent a hard-fought battleground for equality, opportunity, and dignity. Letting that crucial battle be overtaken by politics and double standards does a profound disservice to everyone who truly cares about the game. So yes, Brittney Griner's story is more than just a headline. It's a clear symptom of a much larger crisis, and unless it's addressed head-on, the consequences will ripple far beyond the WNBA courts, fundamentally shaking the very future of women's athletics worldwide.